Good morning, students. Welcome back to my 19th lecture of your subject code C701, Environmental Engineering subject. We are discussing, we'll be discussing today the water treatment part 8. So, in the 19th, in the 18th lecture, last lecture, we have described up to the, that is the disinfection of water with chlorination that we have discussed so far, you remember. Now, today in my 19th lecture, I will deliver the topic, the water treatment part 8. That is the whole of the water treatment. I will finish the water treatment today itself. Now, the remaining part of the water treatment, which is remaining, that today I will close. That is the uh, treatment of water. That is the water softening process. That means if the water is hard, so how the water softening process has been done. So that treatment will be uh, described. The water softening process. That means what do you mean by the water softening process? Because this is the process of removing the soluble salts of calcium and magnesium from the hard water. So this is the process of removing the soluble salts of calcium and magnesium from the hard water. This is called the water softening process. We know the hard water characteristics, as I have told you in the characterization of water, drinking water. The hard water means it is a property of the water which resists the formation of foam on leather using the soap in water. So by that means we can understand whether the water is hard or soft. So it increases, if the water hard, it increases the soap consumption. Basically, due to the presence of the soluble salt of calcium and magnesium ion are the responsible, and these soluble salts, if we make it insoluble, that means if we make in precipitation, if we make the precipitation of the salts, then only we can tell it is free from the hard water. So we can tell that this is a softening process. Fine. Now the softening of water, the principle of the, as I've told you, the soluble salt should be separated from the soluble to insoluble. That is, it has to be precipitated, insoluble get precipitated, and the water becomes the soft. This is the principles of the softening of the water. Now, the methods of softening of the hard water in uh, uh, in the following categories I will describe. What are the categories? There are the if it is temporary hardness. Now we know in the characterization of the water, this is a physical characterization of the water. It is a chemical characterization of the water. It is already we have seen that the water, if it is a hard water, then there are the two types of hard water is there. One is the permanent hardness, and another is the temporary hardness that we have seen in the characterization of the water. Now, in case of the temporary hardness of water, the process of removing the hardness, that is the water softening process, are of two. Two methods are applied for the removing the temporary hardness of water. What are they? They are basically the boiling method and the Clark method. These two processes are widely used for the treatment of the temporary hardness of water. Okay. Now, what is the boiling process? That means the bicarbonate, which are responsible for the temporary hardness of water. The soluble bicarbonate is being converted into the insoluble carbonate, and it is precipitated, and the water becomes the soft. So, what is boiling method? Now, this is one of the method of softening of temporary hardness by simply boiling, and it is known as boiling method. So, it is known as boiling method because by boiling, the hardness we can remove. Which hardness? The temporary hardness we can remove, and the temporary hardness is due to what? Due to the bicarbonate ion. So that bicarbonate of calcium and magnesium, when it is boiled, then it will be converted into the insoluble carbonate, either calcium carbonate or magnesium carbonate, depending on the ionic concentration that calcium or magnesium ion, and the precipitation of the insoluble ion, that is the calcium carbonate or magnesium carbonate, is precipitated, and you will get the clear water. You will get the treated or softened water. That is the boiling at high temperature, the bicarbonate of calcium and magnesium get decomposed into their respective insoluble carbonates. So this decomposition takes place at the on boiling at high temperature. So this is the boiling method, one of the removal method, one of the softening process of the removal of the hardness of temporary hardness, that I would say. So the equation, if we can describe, suppose the responsible ion, soluble ion is the calcium bicarbonate, which is responsible for the temporary hardness, and if we boil it is, then it is dissociated, decomposed in high temperature at CaCO3 plus H2O plus CO2. Similarly, for magnesium MgHCO3 it is decomposed into MgCO3 plus H2O plus CO2. So left hand side I am showing you the soluble bicarbonate, and the right hand side I am showing you the insoluble carbonate. So soluble bicarbonate has been transformed into the insoluble carbonates, forming the precipitator, and it is being by this we are softening the hard water. This is the one of the method I have told you, that is the boiling process, boiling method for removing the hardness of the temporary hardness of the water. Now the Clark's method. What is the Clark's method? Now the Clark's method is the method of softening the temporary hardness by using the lime. The lime addition method is called the Clark's method. That is one of the method of viewing the hardness, that is the temporary hardness of the water. The lime is one of the chemical we are adding in the hard water, that is the temporary hard water, and this lime reacts with the soluble bicarbonate and the soluble bicarbonate of calcium and magnesium to produce the insoluble carbonate. How? Because instead of boiling, just here we are adding the lime, that is calcium hydroxide. So what calcium hydroxide will do? Calcium hydroxide reacts with the calcium bicarbonate, is a chemical process. So it will be converted into calcium carbonate and soluble twice CaCO3 plus twice H2O. So calcium carbonate, the insoluble, will be precipitated and H2O will be formed, and thus it can be in this method the insoluble carbonates can be precipitated and the water becomes soft. That means the soluble ions can be separated. But it has to be kept in mind that in this method excess lime could not be used, because if there is excess lime, then that remaining in the solution after the reaction, after the chemical reaction, that excess lime, if remains, then again it creates the hardness of water. So you have to keep in mind that excess lime should not be there for this chemical reaction. So this is the Clark's method. Similarly, the ion which is responsible, the magnesium ion, the responsible for the temporary hardness, which is MgSCO3 that is also react with the lime, that is the calcium hydroxide, and the magnesium hydroxide precipitation is formed, that is the insoluble precipitation is formed, magnesium hydroxide, then calcium carbonate precipitation is formed. So the insoluble hydroxide and carbonates are precipitated, making the water soft, from hard to soft. These I have told you the two processes. One is the Clark method, that is the addition of the lime, and another is the simple boiling method, by which the temporary hardness can be removed, that is the temporary hardness can be softened by this process. But when I talk about the permanent hardness, that is the hardness due to presence of calcium, due to presence of sulfide, chloride, nitrate, except the bicarbonate ion, the salt ion concentration due to presence of the chloride, sulfate, nitrate, these are called the permanent hardness. So these are not simply removed by addition of the lime or by simply boiling the water. So what is the process followed in removing the permanent hardness? The permanent hardness, there are the 4 different methods: soda ash method and lime soda method. These methods are 2 classic methods which will be described in your syllabus. But another 2 methods, permutoid method and the ionization method, are there. But here I will describe the soda ash method and the lime soda method, which are widely used for removing the, as per your syllabus it is there. So it is widely used in the removal of the permanent hardness of water, that is the ions present due to the chloride, sulfate, nitrate, etc. Let us see the soda ash. Soda ash, actually, it is commercially named as the sodium carbonate, which we call it as soda ash. That means we are adding the sodium carbonate. So in soda ash method, the soda ash is added. That means the sodium carbonate is added to hard water for removing the permanent hardness of water. The soda ash reacts with the soluble salts of calcium and magnesium from hard water to produce the insoluble carbonates. Let us see how it is. Suppose calcium bicarbonate. Although it is a temporary hardness, if we add the soda ash means sodium carbonate, then calcium carbonate precipitation is there. Now chloride, the permanent hardness I am talking about, some type of different salts which is responsible for the permanent hardness. Now if there is a calcium chloride and you add the soda ash, then that is the sodium carbonate. The sodium carbonate chemically react with the calcium chloride and forming the calcium carbonate, the insoluble product. So this is the thing, soda ash, how the soda ash reacts with the ionic concentration of the permanent hardness as well as the temporary hardness and form into the formation of the calcium carbonate, that is the insoluble precipitation has been formed, that you have seen. Now the lime soda method. What is the lime soda method? The lime soda method is combination of the Clark's method, that is the lime, and the soda ash method. So addition of the lime and the soda is called the lime soda method. So this method is applicable for both temporary and permanent hardness, because when we add the lime as well as soda, now lime reacts with bicarbonate to form the precipitation of carbonate, and the soda reacts with the chloride or sulfate. That means those are responsible for the permanent hardness. That reacts with the soda to form the insoluble carbonates, and the water becomes soft. Let us see the reactions, how it is being formed and how it is being precipitated. So these are the chemical processes I am talking for, chemical reaction. Now you see, when I am adding the lime, that is the calcium hydroxide, it reacts with the temporary hardness, that is the calcium bicarbonate. It is calcium carbonate is formed. But when you see that chloride, sulfate, these are which are responsible for the permanent hardness, they are react with the soda ash, that is the sodium carbonate, to form the suppose if I give you the example of the magnesium chloride, that is the responsible for the permanent hardness, it reacts with the soda, that means the sodium carbonate, forming the MgCO3, that is the insoluble MgCO3 precipitation has been formed, that is ionic concentration has been separated. So calcium sulfate, responsible for the permanent hardness, reacts with sodium carbonate, that is the soda ash, and the calcium carbonate, that is the insoluble precipitation has been formed. So addition of the lime soda means, addition of the lime means calcium hydroxide, as well as soda means sodium carbonate. We are adding and we are converting the soluble salt to insoluble salt precipitation, that we have seen in the chemical reaction. So this is basically the examples of the water softening process. Now, one example I am just giving you, numerical example I will give you, then it will be very much clear. Although I have highlighted these things while defining the characteristics of the water, different characteristics of the water, that hardness, one of the key characteristics of the water I have already defined, that the soft water, so water is soft if the hardness is 0 to 75. If it is moderately hard, then it is 75 to 100. If it is between 100 and 300, then we call the hardness hard water, and more than hardness, we call it is very hard. So these hardness of water by titration, volumetric titration method, we have already defined how to define the EDTA solution, the titrant, and the erythrom black tea, that is the indicator, how the hardness of the water has been determined within the in the laboratory experiment, and it is found the value. So corresponding to the value, we have to go for the water softening process. That means the removal of the hardness. So that value you have to know whether the water is the hard, very hard, moderately hard, soft, depending on the hardness, as milligram per liter as CaCO3. Now let me illustrate you a numerical ones, then it will be very much clear. the conception. So so basically the unit of the hardness yeah, milligram per liter as CaCO3. So in the uh, in the scale of CaCO3 it is being measured. That has to be kept in mind. Now just give an example, then you will be very much clear. Now this is a problem related with the water softening process. I must give you the illustration of this example. A sample of water having pH is given, that is 7.2, and the concentration is given as Ca equal to 40 milligram per liter, magnesium equal to 10 milligram per liter. So you can see sodium ion equal to some value is given, you can see from these lecture notes. Potassium equal to 7 milligram per liter. These are the cations: calcium, magnesium, sodium, potassium. I have told you these are the cations. Now the anions are bicarbonate, sulfate, chloride. So some cations are there, some anions are there, some ionic concentration is given with the given pH of the solution it is given. Now what you have to do, you have to construct a bar chart of the ions in terms of the milligram per liter CaCO3, and you have to calculate the total hardness, carbonate hardness, non-carbonate hardness. This portion I will discuss because alkalinity is not in the purview of this problem. Just I have to, since this is, we are discussing for the water softening process, one of the water treatment, key treatment of the hard water, that means the removal of the soluble salts into the insoluble precipitate. So we will just confining our lectures of the numericals into the hardness itself, not alkalinity we consider. So these are the ionic concentration, the cations, anions, as well as the pH value is given. Okay. Now, in this type of problem, you have to first you have to make a tabular form. That is the, you have to make a table corresponding to the value of each ion. Now, 7 columns you have to make in the tabular form, and the number of rows will be depending on the number of ions present in the water. What are the 7 columns? The first columns I have indicated the ionic concentration. That means the cations like calcium ion, magnesium ion, sodium ion, potassium ion, bicarbonate ion, then anions I am talking, sulfate ions and chloride ions. So you see the sulfate and chloride are responsible for the permanent hardness, and the bicarbonate are present responsible for the temporary hardness. So it is a mixed of that temporary and permanent hardness. Now second column, concentration of the ion will give. Third column will highlight the molecular weight. Fourth column, that is the valency. Fifth column, equivalent weight column will be there. And next, sixth and seventh column, the concentration in terms of the milliequivalent per liter, either the milliequivalent per liter or the milligram per liter as CaCO3. So first, the ionic concentration is given, that is the calcium 40 milligram per liter, magnesium 10 milligram per liter, sodium 11.8 milligram per liter. So that values are given in the question. Now, the molecular weight of the chemical ions, which are obtained from the periodic table in chemistry portion, that you know. So that chemistry portion, that molecular weight of the ionic concentration has to be kept in your memory. So that molecular weight we know. Now valency we know. So what is the equivalent weight? Molecular weight divided by valency. Suppose if we talk for calcium, its molecular weight is 40.1. And what is the valency? That is 2. So the equivalent weight is 40.1 divided by 2 is 20.05. Similarly, for each and every ion, if you divide the molecular weight by the valency, you will get the corresponding equivalent weight of that corresponding ions. And similarly, the equivalent weight of the calcium, magnesium, sodium, potassium, bicarbonate, sulfate, chloride has been found out. Like chloride ion, what is the valency? What is the molecular weight? 35.5. And what is the valency? Valency is 1. So definitely the equivalent weight 35.5. So like bicarbonate, HCO3 minus. What is the molecular weight? it is 61. And what is the valency? 1. HCO3 minus. So minus means minus 1. That means 1 valency. So it is the equivalent to it 61. Now the concept of milli-equivalent, I am telling you, if we divide the concentration by the equivalent weight, then the concentration of milli-equivalent per liter we will get. Suppose if I say that calcium concentration is 40 and the equivalent weight is milligram per milli-equivalent is 20.05. So if we divide concentration divided by equivalent weight, that is 40 divided by 20.05, you will get the concentration is milli-equivalent per liter is 1.995. This is the thing. But if we convert it as a concentration is milligram per liter as CaCO3, then what I have to do? Then we have to do the you have to multiply the equivalent weight of that calcium carbonate, that is calcium carbonate that I am showing you in later on. First, let me describe the concentration, that is the 6th column portion I am just discussing you. Magnesium. What is the concentration? Concentration is 10. What is the equivalent weight? Equivalent is 12. We would divide 10 divided by 12, so it will be 0.823. Likewise, 7 divided by potassium is 7. Equivalent weight is 39.1. So if you divide 7 by 39.1, you will get 0.179, that is the milli-equivalent rate. Now, this portion is clear. This portion is clear. Now, I want to tell you that first of all, the when you will convert the hardness in terms of the concentration as CaCO3 milligram per liter as CaCO3, then what we will do? We will do simply, because then I'm just showing you right. Fine. Now any hardness of ion, if you convert it in the concentration in terms of the calcium carbonate, then you have to multiply it with the equivalent of calcium carbonate and you have to divide by the equivalent of that species. So this is the fundamental thing. So let me discuss the equivalent of calcium carbonate is 50, because we know the molecular weight is 100, Ca 40, then C 12, so 40 plus 12 52, and 3 into 16 48. So calcium carbonate, what is the molecular weight? That is 100. And what is the valency? That is calcium carbonate valency is 2. So what is the equivalent weight? So equivalent weight is 50, because 100 by 2 is 50. So anything related with the hardness of that ion in terms of calcium, in terms of the milligram per liter as CaCO3 equivalent to express, then you have to multiply it with 50 divided by that ion, divided by the equivalent weight of that ion. So these I just want to highlight, and let me describe the numericals which was discussed. Suppose calcium, what is the hardness concentration? Concentration is 40. So if we want to say the calcium hardness in terms of milligram per liter as CaCO3, then what you have to do? You have to do simply, you have to multiply the equivalent weight of calcium carbonate, that is 40 into 50, divided by the calcium equivalent weight, that is the 20.05. So 40 into 50 divided by 20.05 will give you the equivalent, will give you the concentration of the Ca as CaCO3, which is 99.8. Similarly, if we can see the magnesium, what is the concentration? 10. What is the now when you will convert the magnesium concentration as milligram per liter as CaCO3, then you have to multiply 10 with the equivalent weight of calcium carbonate, that is into 50, and divided by the equivalent weight of magnesium, that is 12.5. So 10 into 50 divided by 12.15. So you will get it 41.2. This is like this thing. So what we have come to know? We have come to know when we will just express the concentration in terms of milli equivalent per liter. Simply the concentration will be divided by the equivalent weight, and when the concentration of the corresponding ion will be expressed in milligram per liter as CaCO3, you have to multiply the concentration with the equivalent weight of the calcium carbonate, that is 50, divided by the equivalent weight of that ion which is being considered. Okay, so this is the fundamental principles of that expression of the concentration of the ions in different units. It will be very much required in this type of problem. Now we're discussing the problems. Yeah, let us see the cations is 175.6. If we add the from tabular form, if you see the concentration of the ions, milligram per liter of CaCO3, that means if we see that tabular result, that means the calcium, magnesium, sodium, potassium, these four cations, if you add the rightmost column, that is the 7th column, if you see the concentration of that four ions, if you add, that is 99.8 plus 41.2 plus 25.7 plus 8.95, it will be approximately equal to, very closely equal to the HCO3 plus SO4 2 minus plus Cl minus. That means the total cation should be total anion. This is one of the checking that the summation of the cations and anion should be equal. Otherwise, if it is not there, then in this type of numerical problem, you must have some numerical calculation mistakes. So there is a thumb rule of checking whether you have done the calculation right or not. So 10% plus minus is accepted. Otherwise, it should be equal to this within the variation of the 10% plus minus. Now, what is total hardness? We know the hardness is due to the calcium and magnesium ion. So calcium ion concentration and magnesium ion concentration, that two concentration ions, if you add, then you will get the total hardness, which is 141 milligram per liter as CaCO3. In terms of milli equivalent per liter, that is the fifth column, that is, you can say 2.818 milli equivalent per liter. Either it can be expressed in milli equivalent per liter, or it can be mostly it is expressed in the milligram per liter as CaCO3. So total hardness is nothing but the concentration of the calcium ion plus magnesium ion, because these two ions are mostly responsible for the total hardness. Now, now, what is the carbonate hardness? The portion of the hardness associated with the carbonate or bicarbonate hardness, that is carbonate hardness is given 90.2. How the carbonate hardness is given 90.2? It is given that carbonate hardness is 90.2, so total hardness is 141. So non-carbonate hardness is nothing but the total hardness minus carbonate hardness, because non-carbonate hardness is nothing but the temporary hardness, permanent hardness, and carbonate hardness is the temporary hardness. So the non-carbonate hardness is the permanent hardness. So that is total hardness minus carbonate hardness. So total hardness is 141, and the minus the carbonate hardness is 90.1. You will get the 50.9 milligram per liter as CaCO3. So that I will get from the non-carbonate hardness. Now the bar chart which has been followed, you can see the construct the bar chart. From that bar chart, it is very clearly shown that the upper level of that bar, we have indicated the cation, that is mostly the calcium, magnesium, sodium, potassium. So since the hardness is due to the calcium and magnesium ion, so up to magnesium bar mark, that is 141, is the total hardness. Now you see the bicarbonate, which is responsible for the temporary hardness, and after that the sulfate and chloride, which are responsible for the permanent hardness, but the total hardness ended at 141 itself. So the carbonate hardness is 90.2 and the non-carbonate hardness is 141. That means satisfying the non-carbonate hardness, the sulfate and chloride ions are excess, which is found as excess. So non-carbonate hardness ended with 141 figure. So this is this gives the bar diagram of the cation and anion separately, as well as the total hardness, carbonate hardness, non-carbonate hardness indicatively it is being used in the hair. So the chemicals at the lower line of the bar graph is called the hypothetical combination of positive and negative ion in the water sample. So this is the thing. So what we have learned that softening is a chemical processes we know in which hardness causing ions, that is the mostly the calcium and magnesium, are removed from water after either completely or partially, and is softening the acid by chemical precipitation using the lime soda method or by ion exchange method. Here the lime soda method I have described to you as per your syllabus is concerned. Lime means the commercial lime, that is the CaOH2, and soda ash in commercial terms we mean to say it is a sodium carbonate. So when we add the sodium carbonate, then the permanent hardness responsible ion, that is the chloride sulfate, these are being removed, and when you are using the lime, these remove the temporary hardness part, that is the bicarbonate plus. It acts with the bicarbonate to make it insoluble formation of the carbonate. And in the chemical precipitation method, the objective is to produce the calcium carbonate, which is the insoluble part of the precipitation, and the magnesium hydroxide. Both the target is to precipitate calcium carbonate and the calcium hydroxide, magnesium hydroxide. Both are insoluble. These two reactions are achieved by addition of the lime and soda ash as which has been shown. That already it has been shown. So a common water treatment goal is to provide a water with a hardness in the range of 75 to 120 milligram per liter as CaCO3. So this goal has to be there for treatment goal. Now the precipitate CaCO3 and MgOH2, we need to raise the pH to 10.3 by adding lime. The addition of hydroxide, the lime means addition of hydroxide, which will convert to bicarbonate to carbonate. Similarly, to precipitate the magnesium hydroxide also we need to raise the pH to 11 by addition of soda ash, because this will add carbonate ion needed to react with the remaining CF2 plus. And some of the added lime is consumed to remove carbon dioxide, which is necessary to raise the pH. Because if the carbon dioxide is removed, then pH is raised. So the chemistry of lime soda as process has been already shown you. So this is the reaction. Again, I am showing you neutralization of the carbonic acid. This is the softening reaction. That means to raise the pH, we need first to neutralize any acid in the water. Okay. Now the precipitation of carbonate hardness due to calcium, that I have shown you in the reaction. You can see earlier also discussed. Now again I am showing you the reactions. To raise the pH to 10.3, all the HCO3 is converted to CO3 minus, CO2 minus. Then the precipitation of carbonate hardness due to magnesium, to raise the pH to 11, add more. You see the reactions: magnesium, bicarbonate, adding calcium hydroxide. So how the calcium carbonate and the magnesium hydroxide ions are precipitated. So this is all about the removal of the hardness. Now non-carbonate hardness, you see the removal. Adding the sodium carbonate, precipitation calcium carbonate is formed. Then chloride, which is responsible for the permanent hardness, in addition with the sodium carbonate, calcium carbonate formed. Then the non-carbonate hardness, that is the sodium adding with the calcium hydroxide, the magnesium hydroxide insoluble form is formed. So these are the mechanisms which have been formed in the permanent hardness. So ultimately, you have seen that the temporary and permanent, whatever the hardness, our target is to remove the soluble salts into insoluble precipitation to become the water soft. So this is our the last treatment process I have described regarding the water treatment method. So actually, as per your syllabus curriculum, there are the 8 lectures. So part 8 I've already deliberated in today's lecture. That is in my 19th lecture. So part 8 portion, that is the water treatment part 8 I have described, and this is all about the water treatment process, because last 7 lectures, last part 7 lectures regarding the water treatment process has already been discussed. So this is I am going to deliberate the 19th lecture, so I will close it today. So I will upload the last topic, last lecture on the water treatment process, that is the water softening process in the Google Classroom. So we will just go through that Google Classroom, that lecture notes, and we'll be meeting in the live classroom for one-to-one interaction, for clarification of your queries, if any, and we'll upload the tutorials, assignments, numericals, so that you can submit solving those assignments in due time. So, students, thank you very much. I'll close it a day. So, have a nice day to all.